So, folks, I'm here to let you know I was on another episode of the Transatlantic Call-In Show. It's a show hosted on The Line, and it's a show for people to call in and ask about different trans topics, trans news, ask for advice, or want clarification on an issue, or even want a spicy debate. So, all kinds of different people call into the show. It's really, really cool. And on this particular episode, I was co hosting with Dr. Ben, and it was an absolute delight. And, I think some of the best content that I've put out there. So do check it out. You can actually find a link to the full episode down below in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this call, or you do enjoy this call rather, because I've really enjoyed all of my episodes on the line, and I really hope you guys do too. The lines, the Transatlantic Call-In Show program is broadcast every Thursday. I'm on it, generally speaking, right now, every other Thursday, but go check it out. It's really cool. Also, a bunch of the other people who host shows over there, really cool, really interesting. You might find other programs that you really like. Go check it out. Link down below, by the way, also to the channel, The Line, as well as their Patreon and their merch store. Go support them if you can. And also, folks, like this video and comment on this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Go do those things. And also, since there's a link to the original episode down below, consider also leaving a like and a comment and a subscribe over there, because we want this to benefit both programs. So go do the things. Tune in live. I hope you enjoy this call. Let's see what we got.
Let's chat with Train, they, them from Texas. Train, you are live on the line with Ben and Jack. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I don't know if I'm trans or not, or if I'm what I should identify as. I'm just looking for some advice, if you guys would oblige.
Yeah, elaborate.
Okay, well, let's start from the beginning, shall we? When I was little, I've always wished to be different. I looked at my sister, looked at my mom, looked at the girls and women on TVs and in cartoons and stuff, and I'd want to be like them. I'd want to have this is going to sound weird, but have the body like them, have society react the way they would looking at people like that. And as I've grown up, I've discovered that what gender envy was, and I don't know how to deal with that in a healthy way.
Okay,
or in any way, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of pretty clear on what you want, right?
I don't know how to get it though. Like, where do I start? How do I get the funds for it? How do I deal with the backlash from like society? Society sucks.
Yeah, society, that is the tricky part right now, right? Like, I relate to you quite a bit, because growing up, I also would see like women on TV and stuff and be like, oh man, I wish I could be that. And it wound up being for me something where, in middle school, I would like have vivid daydreams about uh getting hit by a car, because then if I got hit by a car but I didn't die, maybe I would need extensive reconstructive surgery, and then maybe there'd be a whoopsie daisy and I'd get reconstructive surgery to look like a woman, and then I'd just be like, oops, nothing I can do about it, and I would just like be able to live my life as a woman. And I want to be clear, I didn't think of myself as trans at that time, but that really should have been a wake-up call for me. Um, and then it took me a really long time to kind of get to a place where I was like, well, I've tried everything to fit in with the gender identity that I've been assigned, since birth. And like I didn't really know where to start either. And so where I started was I bought clothes for myself that I liked and just started experimenting with, is that like, what is this? Open up this box of feelings that I've had for so long and see what this is. Is this like a cross-dressing thing? Is this like an actual gender identity thing? Is this, what is this? What does that mean for me, and where am I most comfortable? Because where you might be comfortable, where I might be comfortable might be different places. But eventually then I was like, well, I'll also try makeup. And so I tried makeup and I found that very affirming as well as the clothing and the shoes. And then my next step was that I started going out in public little by little. I started with very low stakes interactions in public, whether like at like a gas station. You just walk into the gas station, buy a snack, leave. And as I did that, I built up confidence. Eventually I was going into like, a restaurant and sitting down and having food, leaving. And I worked my way up. And that I think could have been a lot easier if I had a more supportive social circle, like if I had joined like a trans support group or something like that. And then, because all of this was happening for me as an adult, right? And so then I realized, after one of my very close friends took his own life, I saw a lot of parallels between his situation and my situation. And I realized, oh, if I don't transition, this isn't something that I can just like keep a secret and keep to myself my entire life. I actually have to do this. Otherwise I could wind up like him. And so I started HRT. And for me, because I'm an adult, I was able to go into an informed consent clinic and, tell them my reasons. I had blood drawn. And then, like, about a week later, they were like, yep, you're good. Here's a prescription for HRT. And I started taking that and haven't looked back ever since. And so that's kind of my process. And what your process might look like could be different. Um, depending on where you live, especially right now in the United States, your process might look different. And what might be safe for you might be different. And that is really, really scary. Um, and I know I'm throwing a lot out there. I don't know if Ben wants to say anything or if you want to say anything, but
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say, like, you coming in here and the kind of the first way you were describing things, like, I know it was very scary for you to put that into words. I remember how scared I was to start putting any of this into words, but and I know you said that this may sound weird. Like, no, what you were saying, I think both of us and a lot of people in the side chat were thinking, "Oh yeah, no, this is exactly how I felt," and so your experience is very much shared. And that being said, though, I don't want you to look at anybody in this community and think that your experience has to line up with ours. And so if you look back and you think, "Oh, actually, that's I don't think I'm trans or any of that." Like it's up to you to kind of figure that out for yourself. But some of the things that you've said do line up with a very common experience that people have, and so I want you to feel some solidarity in that. Hopefully, and yeah, it's difficult to kind of set yourself up on that path, and I know that kind of the very beginning is often the hardest because as you're, kind of coming out to yourself and figuring out what routes to go down, there's a lot of potential. There's also a lot of anxiety, maybe, with the risks of like, what if I'm not going to look the way I want to? What if I'm not going to pass the way that I want to? And that's very real. Um, and I would say that if you have like some strong feelings of dysphoria with your body the way it is right now, or feelings of anxiety related to how you relate to the world around you, all that stuff. I do think it's worth looking for a therapist who is affirming of trans people. And so you could explore that in a safe, controlled environment. Because let's say uh, you have those therapy visits and you just leave all that stuff between you and them. None of that has to go anywhere else. Like, and if you explore that in that controlled setting and you decide, you know what, I actually don't want to go forward with this, then cool. You learned something about yourself. You got to explore a bit. But then if you decide, you know, I do need to take some more steps and I do want to socially transition or medically transition, then you kind of have a support system built in that therapist as well to say, how do I start strategizing like doing this and how do I work with my relationships and all that stuff. So I highly recommend if you're able to do that. I know the state that you're in may make it difficult to do that, especially more anonymously. Are you in a good situation as far as like your family? Are you depending on people at home or are you kind of supporting yourself?
Well, I currently live with my family. My one of my siblings was exploring their own identity and came out as trans, but decided they weren't. So my family's supportive of everything.
Okay.
But I
That's great.
my main concern was like, what if I'm just like lying to myself? What if I'm not doing stuff that I should be doing? What if, like,
That
I
is
feel as if I'm lying to myself sometimes.
that is a thought that I have thought to myself so many times. And again, that's another thing that you feel like you're not trans enough. You feel like you're making a wrong decision by even having these thoughts or having this conversation. But like that is again a more common experience than you recognize at this point.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of trans folks go through a lot of self-doubt. And I would just say, at the very, very least, cis people don't tend to agonize over whether or not they're trans. Um, that might not tell you exactly what your gender identity might be, other than not cis, you know?
I've heard that
And
before.
yeah,
Like,
like
those people don't think, what would life be like as a girl? They just like, why would I ever think that?
yeah, and like I grew up hearing like other people being like, yeah, if I was a girl, I'd love it for like a day. And I was like, oh, okay, so like it's normal for other guys to like want to be girls. And then I never realized that they were just talking about like being able to touch boobs. You know, they weren't
Yeah.
actually wanting to be women in perpetuity. You know, they didn't actually want to change their gender identity. They just were making jokes about touching boobs. And so that for me was a huge realization of just like, oh, men aren't sitting around constantly being sad that they're not girls. That's not a thing that cis men do. And for me, that was a really big, and it was a really hard realization for me. Like I did not want to have that realization. And but yeah, it helped clarify things for me quite a bit.
Hmm. Like, if there was a button and you could go back in time and be a girl, be born a girl, and stuff like that, you would press that button. So
Yep.
people don't think about that, right? People
Yep.
probably wouldn't press that button.
Yep.
What are your thoughts,
Well,
Train?
my main concern is how I'm gonna afford things because I don't have a job right now. I'm waiting for callbacks, but like most of the places here in Texas are anti everything except
Yep.
straight.
Yeah, so that might take some
And
time. Because yeah, it does get expensive and it's something that unfortunately you are going to need to have some stable income because once you start, you're going to need to keep doing it and keep renewing the prescription and get labs and all that stuff. So And especially with the kind of side effect of HRT is that your own endocrine system kind of stops making a lot of those hormones on its own. So that's especially where you need to be able to keep getting access to those medications. As of right now, there are still like some concierge medicine services that do prescribe HRT for adults in Texas. That'll do it through telehealth. It can be a bit more expensive though because there's a subscription service to essentially have access to these providers via telehealth. So there are some ways to kind of work with that in your state. The thing is though, income and then um, kind of being able to like if you needed to stay on this medication, like what's going to happen in the future as far as legislation in Texas and all that, because you may need to have an exit plan as far as that goes. But apart from kind of waiting for being apart from waiting for medication to start being available, you can start thinking about social things that you can do. That I know that there's a lot of risk management you have to do in your own head about how much do I want to change my outward appearance going into public, but you can even start taking some steps like if you want to grow your hair out, if you want to paint your nails, if you want to try out some names, if you want to try out some pronouns with friends of yours, like things that aren't going to put you in an unsafe position kind of before medically transitioning. I think those things may be helpful for you as well.
And I would just also say, I want to echo Dr. Ben's statement about getting a therapist who specifically helps serve like gender nonconforming folks, because that can be a really helpful way for you to uh, make plans and discuss what you want, and also get a pretty vital line of support, especially if you're not ready to come out to friends and family and be out in the world, especially. And I would also just note, if you're wondering about uh, how you would even start with HRT, I know Planned Parenthood provides gender affirming care, and typically under like an informed consent model. And I believe that they do that also still in Texas for, again, people over the age of 18. So um, that might be a place for you to start if that is something you're interested in. But
Yeah, and I believe they are still doing that. Yep.
yeah, but I also just be prepared, especially as you kind of progress in this journey of self-discovery. You might want to be moving to a place that's a bit safer for trans folks.
Also, look
Yeah, I
into
want
something, and this is for it's for everybody out
Sorry.
there who's using medications. Look into something like GoodRx or some kind of like medication coupon program because some of those controlled substances, especially like testosterone, can be very expensive. And so get those savings if you can.
Yep.
I've heard good things about GoodRx, but I've also heard bad things about it, so I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, it depends on the medication. Some forms of HRT like do fall under GoodRx, like, and it also depends on the pharmacy that you use as well. So like, you kind of have to do some shopping around and make sure that your prescription is covered under GoodRx, or you look into another program. But it can be worth it if it is covered under there.
Okay, well, still wondering how I'm going to afford everything, but so I've talked to my fiance about it, and she's started like looking into feminine clothing and stuff that might fit me, but she hasn't done much anything. And
Yeah,
while I appreciate her efforts, I'm a little nervous about it.
and it's absolutely okay to be nervous. It's scary. And like, as you grow confidence in, who you are, whoever that might be, Like it does get easier. It really does. But starting is the hardest part, and I'd argue, even grappling it with it the way you have, I think you've already gotten over the hardest point of realization, where you're even kind of exploring these ideas already. And everything else, if it's any consolation, is a bit easier. Not to say that it's easy, but um, it does get easier.
You just have to stick with it, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things. My therapist gave me some advice that like take strength in the knowledge that there are millions of other people around the world who have taken steps in on this path before you, and that they wind up out okay. Like there are trans people out there living their best lives, happy, healthy, safe, and you can do that too. um and the really just take some kind of courage in that path that a lot of us have had to walk before.
I was playing Baldur's Gate recently, and there was a quote that stuck with me. Courage is found in the battle with fear, not in the defeat of it.
Yep.
Yep.
So
I yeah
gotta be courageous and do what I think is right for me, not what's right for everyone else.
Yeah, and being courageous doesn't mean not feeling fear. And it is okay to be
Doing
scared.
stuff regardless.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got this.
Anything else we could help you with, Train?
No, it's been very, very insightful. I need to think on some things, and I really, really appreciate both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
And we've got a whole community inside chat that are cheering you on right now. So definitely go read those comments. I don't always say it for people to go read the comments, but go read the chat right now. People really want to send you some encouragement, and you've got a community here. So feel free to join us in side chats every week, and we'll give you the we'll give you the boost that you need.
Yeah, you are not alone.
Yep. Yeah, and I need to find one, a therapist, although I need to pay for it, and then two, a community that I can be free and open with. Only really person I can do that is my fiance. So it's kind of how do I say it? It sucks, but I'm glad I can be open with her. I just need to find people I can be open with, share my interests, stuff like that.
Yeah,
and there are groups out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to move on to another call, Train. But definitely let us know some updates if you get them, and we're happy to help you with if more questions come up as well. So thank you for your call.
Yeah, thank you guys again, and I'll leave so you guys can get the more entertaining ones.
You've been lovely.
Right.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Have a great day, Train.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Whew. That was a call. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it was cathartic. I hope it was interesting. And also, I hope you leave a comment letting us know what you thought about it down below. You can also leave a comment over on the original episode, of course. Link down below on that one as well. Go subscribe to The Line. Link below. Go check out their Patreon. Link below. Go check out their merch store. Link below. It's amazing all the different things you can link down there. Who knew? Anyway, do all the things, click all the buttons, leave all the comments. You know the drill by now, and do call in if you have a burning question about trans people. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. It's gender euphoric lingerie designed with trans femmes in mind. It's a really, really cool new brand. Go check them out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down below in the description to that as well. It is non-tucking lingerie that is elegant, that is high quality, that is beautiful, and it will fit. So go check it out. Again, link down below in the description. And also go check out Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben's content is great. Go check him out. Go do the things. I believe in you guys. And on that note, let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and switching streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.